Alright, this is Starfield Shattered Space Deep Dive. They released this a couple days ago. I have not seen it yet. I'm going to be playing this on stream. So I'm kind of curious if I don't know, just what it's about. The only thing that I know beforehand is that it's all taking place on one world. So when you start the DLC, assumedly, uh, you're not going to have to like travel back between different systems and planets. It's more like old school style, single map, dense, highly curated sections of the game. So we'll see.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. It's been an incredible journey since
Why?
Starfield
Why?
launched last year. I want to thank
This is like 2000s where you had visors like this, like the golf visors. Whatever.
for making it the biggest launch in Bethesda Game Studios history. Your
I really
continued
do
support
think this universe
guide
can go
drive
somewhere good.
us to making Starfield the best experience possible. Since launch, we've added new features,
Yeah, I haven't seen the new
technical
maps in game.
enhancements, fresh content, and the newly released Rev 8, Starfield's first ever land vehicle. Now we're expanding Starfield's galaxy with a brand new, completely handcrafted world and deep new storyline.
Okay.
This September, we're launching Starfield's first major expansion, Shattered Space. Today, we're giving you the first look at the mysterious homeworld of House Faroon. So let's dive in and explore.
Yeah, I do think that that House Faroon was probably to me one of the more interesting aspects of Starfield's lore. And as I romanced Andreja, it should be Andrea, but whatever. I romanced her, and I thought that her backstory was pretty interesting. So exploring that more with her on my playthrough will be pretty interesting. Although I started New Game Plus, and I didn't romance her in New Game Plus. Maybe I should do that.
The fate of our house was written among the stars. The great serpent tells us there is nothing to fear.
I'm watching, Mom.
Not for those who walk the path. You will rise as Varun.
God, if they can nail the horror vibe, it's gonna be pretty cool.
We love Starfield's massive open galaxy, but from early on in our planning, we knew we wanted to introduce a more secluded and handcrafted location, similar to what you've seen from our past expansions.
Early on in your planning for the DLC or for the main game? We'll just let that question sit there.
There's so much mystery to House Faroon, and because they've so thoroughly isolated themselves, it made them the perfect faction to explore in a completely self-contained experience.
And so you arise, one of the promised of House Varun.
From the minute you arrive on Varun Kai, the story never sends you off planet. You're free to leave at any time,
Okay.
but the story is fully centered around life on the Varun homeworld.
Everything you discover, every location you visit, every side mission you seek out, it all tells the story of what happened here and how the Varun people have survived, cut off from the comforts of the settled systems and the rest of humanity.
What are the antagonists?
Vindicator. Harbinger. Reverend.
Promised. One of our main themes throughout the base game is humanity's search for knowledge. Shattered Space is still about that search, but it's also about what happens when it goes too far. It's a very extreme pursuit, and it has backfired horribly for the people of House Faroon.
My brother Qasim has been missing for days. I'm beginning to worry that something terrible has happened to him.
Before the start of Shattered Space, a secret experiment involving grav drive technology went terribly wrong.
It resulted in a massive tear in the fabric of space-time that swallowed a significant portion of the Varun capital of Dazra. You arrived just a few weeks
cool.
after the Vortex incident. It's still very fresh in everyone's minds.
Wait,
There's
a few. Wait. Hold on.
Weeks after the Vortex
Few
incident.
weeks
It's
after.
still
Okay.
very fresh in everyone's minds. There's a massive crater in their city. Nothing has been reconstructed. People are still searching for missing loved ones.
Supplies are limited. There is so much work to be done.
The Scaled Citadel, the seat of power for the Varun government, is now trapped within a strange field of energy. Among those missing is Anasco Varun, leader of the Varun people and speaker for the Great Serpent. In his absence, the minor houses that make up House Varun are all vying for control over the faction's future.
The Zealots were once a part of Varun society.
Can you choose
They
which
want
one you
to continue
support?
The Serpent's crusade. They'll demand an inordinate amount of credits or firearms. Worst case, a seat at the High Council, or even the reinstatement of their house.
How would you not finish off that kill?
All must serve. Set me free. All must serve. All must serve. Set me free. All must serve. Save me.
Varun Kai and Dazra City are like no other location in the base game.
Why?
From its inception, House Varun has been driven by a singular, unique vision. Because of this, Varun Kai has a completely distinct visual identity. We say it's very alien. You'll see this in the extraterrestrial landscape, gravity anomalies, and much more.
I think this was the right choice for them to do it this way. And I wonder if Shattered Space was intentionally supposed to be like this from the start, or if they quickly scrambled to redesign. Maybe that Shattered Space was meant to take place between multiple planets in the same system, and they quickly found a way to push it all into the same planet, just as a response to the backlash for the main game. I don't think they needed to do that. I think the problem is, this could have just been a band-aid patch, right? We can't fix the main game because that would be too much work. The best we can do is fix it in a sequel. But for the DLC, we can put it all into one world to at least appease some of those complaints, which was probably the most efficient solution.
Varun Kai is located in the Kavnik system, and it's not the friendliest environment. They believed the Great Serpent led them to Varun Kai, and their whole purpose in being here is to await its return.
You have no concept of what the Great Serpent demands of us. All must serve.
It's a dangerous planet, and a lot of the people have retreated to Dazra in order to survive and protect their culture and their way of life. Now you'll find areas of the planet that were abandoned and have since been taken over by Zealots, Spacers, and Crimson Fleet. And humans aren't the only dangers in the Badlands of the planet. With the line between reality and the vortex breaking down, creatures from the other side can slip through, like the vortex horror. When you disturb the barrier between our world and theirs, they can sense it, creating these honestly terrifying ambush scenarios.
Jump scare ambushes.
There's a lot of focus around ranged gun combat. You can engage in a firefight from way in the distance. In Shattered Space, we're closing that distance. Space is scary.
Closing that space, how? Just more melee weapons, tighter close combat level design, maybe both. I mean, I'm kind of for that. I think that helps with the atmosphere and the tension they're going for.
Part of getting that across is amping up the aggression and the chaos of combat.
Okay. Okay. I'm into that. I like how he jumped off of there. Probably because these enemy AI cannot do much to attack him up here, and they want to show off the attacks. That's just an assumption, but I could be wrong. I'm an expert at cheesing enemy pathfinding.
The city of Dazra and the surrounding planet, you'll learn the truth of what happened, become entangled in the political feud between the minor houses, and ultimately decide the fate of House Varun.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. It's like, okay, so we have this seat of High Council, this governance body that is locked in this energy field, or whatever. We don't know what happened to them. I mean, they could be dead, right? Within this power vacuum now, all the minor houses are trying to vie for control. I mean, how much leeway do I have here? Can I support one of the houses? Can I destroy all the houses? Is it, are there multiple endings here? Or is it just more like, well, we need to keep the peace and then find a way to restore that governing power so that things go back to normal? I don't know. I'll be curious to see that, because that will matter a lot to me, whether or not this feels like a good DLC or not. If it's just more linear, I mean, okay, fair, but tell me that. Or do I have multiple choices of how this ends?
That could affect the rest of the settled systems.
We can restore the intended order of things.
Thank you for joining us for a closer look at Shattered Space.
They're probably not going to tell me that.
To make this a journey you won't forget. We're incredibly grateful for your support and passion. Stay tuned for more updates as we head toward launch on September 30th.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I have mixed feelings about the base game for a lot of reasons, but I think that the Starfield universe is interesting enough that I want to see a Starfield 2, but I want to see some significant changes and production focuses that I don't think were very core to Starfield, primarily with like variety, RPG elements. I think that their idea for this, I think the main story in Starfield was just kind of eh. Although, which recent Bethesda game hasn't been kind of eh with main story? And, oh, there was one other thing. I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, it was like New Game Plus. I think the New Game Plus ideas were cool, but it still is one of those games where you don't have much incentive to do New Game Plus. I don't think people, when they play Skyrim or Fallout, were asking, hey, I want a New Game Plus. And the thing is, if you do New Game Plus, you have to do it well. You have to include items and new progression that didn't exist in base game. I mean, Borderlands does this better. I still have problems with Borderlands New Game Plus, but at least you have some new enemy types, although they're kind of just reskins, aren't they? But, they do add some additional elements to it, like better loot and whatever. But yeah, it's like, if you're going to do New Game Plus, do it right. Make it an intended feature of the game in some cases, if you know that you have that replayability. But I also think that if you know that you have that replayability with the core loop, why not just spend all that extra time making a bit of a longer campaign or adding in some better meta systems? I don't know how to put it. Either way, I'm excited to play this. That's all I can say. We'll be playing it on release. It's coming out on the 30th, so in 11 days. And I'll probably prepare a save for it at home. Yeah, I'll probably prepare a save for it at home where we are in a relationship with Andresha and I've completed the main story. and I think that'll be a good place to wait for the DLC. And then we can always say, well, okay, well, maybe we should start a new game for the DLC. We'll just make a new game plus or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Either way, that was fun. See you next time, YouTube. And then if you're on Twitch and you're watching this live, we're jumping over to game dev right now. So see you, YouTube.